Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Michael and we're going to be getting right back into some more Reddit stories. If you enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Now, without further ado, let's begin. This story was posted by a throwaway account in the 2X chromosomes subreddit. The post is titled, "A guy I met at a work event out of town won't stop bothering me. Hello, I created a throwaway account so that I can share this anonymously. Around 10 months ago, I went on my first work-related trip to a different city. There, I met Jerry. I know there is a huge age gap, but I know myself, I am generally into older men. I met him in the hotel lobby where I was staying. He asked me out for coffee and I said yes. He was really charismatic. I was blushing the entire time. We spent a good weekend together. We did kiss multiple times. He gave me his number but did not want to add me on social media because he said he does not use it. He did give me an Instagram ID to contact him. This really made me a bit suspicious. I had a gut feeling that something about him was not right. So I decided to search and do some background work. I tried to search for him on Facebook and other social media but hit a wall. I remembered that he gave me a business card from his company. I also asked a friend for help to find something on him. I don't know, I was just adamant about finding some dirt on him. Eventually, we found some interesting facts. That man is married with 2 children. I saw his kids. One is about 16 or 17 and the other is around 10 or 11. I wanted to throw up. I know my own sister tried to kill herself because her boyfriend cheated on her. I know the pain even if it is secondhand. I cut off all contact with him. I blocked his number. A few weeks after I totally ghosted him, I saw him in the parking lot of my office. He knew where I worked. Again, my fault because I told him. He asked me why I didn't return his calls and why I blocked him on everything. I screamed at him and called him a liar. I told him I knew he was married and had children. In fact, his oldest son is closer to my brother's age. This is really disgusting. He broke down crying and begged me not to leave him. He kept ranting about how unhappy he is in his marriage. He said he just wanted someone to love him, and when he saw me, he fell in love and wanted to be with me. I told him this was not possible. He is married. I cannot do this to a woman. Even if I don't know her, I have the decency not to ruin someone's marriage and forever be known as a homewrecker. He kept begging. I had to threaten him that I would shout so people would throw him out. His calling and stalking did not stop. I asked a friend and co-worker to escort me to my car because I was so afraid that Jerry would come towards me. He sent me message after message saying he was sorry and that he could be a better man if I were with him. I had to deactivate my social media for a while. For about 5 months, it was calm and quiet. I had no issues. Then again, I received a message in my email from Jerry saying that he had divorced his wife for my sake and that since he was not with his wife now, he and I could be together. I was really creeped out by this. I told him over and over again that I do not want him. His harassment did not stop. He threatened to ruin my career and blame me for ruining his marriage because I made a move on him. This is not true. He was the one who approached me first. I was just a little friendly with him. If I had known he was married back then, I would never have reciprocated his flirting. I feel lost. I keep blaming myself, thinking maybe none of this would have happened if I had not been friendly with him. I also don't want him to ruin my career, but I am scared for my life. I think I should mention I am not from the United States. The police in my area are corrupt. Jerry is in a very high position in his company. He can easily ruin my career. I am collecting evidence because of his harassment. Update. A couple of weeks ago, I posted here asking for help. A man I met on a work trip lied about being single. He has a wife and children too. He has been stalking me. He told me he left his family for me so I should be with him because he made a big sacrifice for me. I have decided to file a restraining order, but these things take time in my country. Fortunately, I have my father and uncle with me. They are helping me find a new place and probably a new job. As soon as I can serve him with the restraining order, I will feel relieved. However, I am afraid it might not work because he seems unstable. His messages have reduced since I threatened to call his wife. The problem is that yesterday his wife emailed me and said she wants to meet me. She said in detail that she knows her husband has some connection with me. I have never met this woman in my life. I don't know why she wants to meet me. I am guessing she wants to talk, but then again, he told me he left his wife. So how did his wife know my information or even my email? If I meet her, my stalker could find out I talked to his wife. I am really scared for my life. What should I do? Part of me thinks she might help me with my case. Has anyone ever been in my position? Update 2. So I took your advice and did not go to see her. We had a couple of email exchanges. I told her clearly that under no circumstances did I want to meet someone I could not trust. Whatever she had to say, she could say it in my email. She understood. I thought she would oppose this idea. She told me she had been having doubts about her husband for a long time, so she hired someone to keep an eye on him. There, she found out he had been having affairs with multiple women. The first time he did this, she forgave him, but this time he is only stuck on me. She said she found some pictures of me on his laptop. She shared a file containing pictures of me coming out of my office, going to the gym, and going out to eat. I was shaking. I was in a very emotionally vulnerable state after seeing that I could not be safe in my own life. I felt like I was being watched even as I typed this. Imagine being a prisoner in your own house. I ended up telling the wife to have a Zoom meeting for 5 minutes. I used a disposable account, and just for extra safety, I had the Zoom call in a public space along with a friend. I do not trust anyone at this point. I gave her some conditions. I would not show my face, but if she wanted to show hers, that was up to her. I saw her for the first time. She looked like the woman I saw in Jerry's picture with his wife and kids. She was basically crying and telling me she had made a huge mistake. She said she should have left that time, and now he is bringing shame to her as well. I did not say much, just told the story of how Jerry and I met. Also, Jerry lied. He did not leave his wife. He was not separated from her, but I am sure he will be now. I feel so exposed. I cannot believe this is happening to me. I always saw this happen in movies. I am moving in with my cousin because I do not feel safe anymore. I wish I had never met him. I feel disgusted that I kissed him and hugged him. I do not think any amount of showering is enough to wash all of that away. Also, I feel guilty that I broke a family too. Thanks for listening to my vent. I do not think I will update anymore until I get the restraining order. Update 3. This will be my final update here. If you are new to this, the gist is that the man I met on a work trip lied to me about being single. He has a wife and children. He stalked me. I issued a restraining order against him. I just want to share a shocking development. Basically, my stalker, Jerry, tried to do something similar to Chris Watts. He attacked his wife and children. His wife left him, and he went to the place where she was staying with the kids and tried to kill her with a knife. Before the police could arrive, he had already done serious damage to her. I do not know all the details, but he punched her and injured her face severely. She was in a coma for 3 weeks. I heard she is doing better now. Their oldest child was injured while trying to help his mother. I wish nothing but good prayers for her and her family. That woman was kind and gentle with me, even knowing I was involved with her husband. I did send her flowers, but I did not visit them. Needless to say, that man is now in jail. He will be serving a long sentence, though the hearing is in September. The amount of evidence collected against him is enough to keep him imprisoned for life. I am happy that I am finally free. I no longer have to live in fear. However, I still get scared at night and feel like someone is following me. I am still in therapy. I have become so isolated because of this incident that I have started to become neurotic and to doubt my close friends. Anyway, I might delete this account now, but thanks to everyone who helped me. Turuel said, I detest the way we, and this applies to far too many places, trivialize stalking. The police always say things like, it is a public place, or they have not done anything to you yet, as if forcing someone to live in terror, uproot their life, or change their long-standing habits and routines is not actually damaging, both mentally and socially. Adept Grapefruit said, I had an online stalker once. He was on my university subreddit saying he was an art student and wanted a model for painting. I looked at his previous comments and he was posting in subreddits for women seeking platonic female friends, so I got the impression he was a woman. I contacted him and said I was possibly interested. He gave me his number. Well, he was sketchy from the start. I asked for pictures of his previous work, but he refused to send them. I said I did not feel comfortable modeling without seeing previous work. Finally, he called me. I heard a man's voice and instantly noped out, respectfully telling him I was no longer interested. Then came 6 months of non-stop texts and calls. Keep in mind, this man knew nothing about me. I never met him, never gave him my name, not even my first name. Somehow, one day he was saying my full name and listing my address. I had him blocked, but my phone at that time retained voicemail messages even from blocked numbers. Sometimes I listened to them and they became exponentially scarier, like him saying he was going to rape me and things like that. They were usually 5 to 10 minutes of ramblings, and he left around 10 of them every night. Eventually, I called my cell phone provider asking for an entirely new number and deleted my old one. I then moved to a new apartment. I have not changed my name or anything, but I have not heard from him since. Months later, I met someone who had had the same experience I had, except she had met him in person. This woman and I went searching through yearbook photos. Finally, we found his real name. Surprise! Criminal record for stalking, multiple restraining orders against him. We revealed his name and photo to the public. A bunch of other victims came forward, a local paper wrote an article about him, and he was sent to a mental hospital. I honestly cannot imagine how bad it is to be physically stalked. Being stalked online and threatened was bad enough. Be careful out there, everyone. This next post was made in the relationship advice subreddit by a throwaway account. The post is titled, "I found out my fiance's dad died last month. No one told us and she missed the funeral. I don't even really know how to start this or what I'm asking exactly. I guess I just want to understand what happened and maybe get some advice on how to help my fiance deal with this because it's a lot. I think she's starting to blame herself, which she really shouldn't. I proposed to my fiance back in March. Her father was the only person I talked to beforehand. I asked for his blessing and he was very kind about it. I'd only met him a couple of times before that, but we had a good conversation and I could tell he really loved her. The thing is, I only met his wife, her stepmother, once that same day. It was brief and polite, but that was it. Everything else about our engagement planning and updates was through her father. Her father has another child with the stepmother, a teenage son, 17. My fiance always kind of kept some distance from that part of her father's life. It wasn't that she hated them or anything, they just weren't close. Her father would check in and sometimes visit her on his own, but it always felt like he had two separate families. I never really thought too hard about it. It just was what it was. Then in April, while we were starting to figure out the engagement party and save the dates and all that, he passed away. We didn't even know. We didn't hear anything from anyone. No call, no text, not even a weird silence. Nothing. We only found out this week because one of her cousins posted something online about missing him after the funeral. And my fiance texted them like, "What do you mean the funeral?" They said, "Everyone was surprised you didn't show." She just shut down. I think she's still in shock. Her father is gone. She didn't get to say goodbye. She wasn't even told he was dead. The funeral already happened. She missed it. And no one told her. Not her stepmother, not even her own brother, not anyone. What makes it worse is that now as she tries to reach out to people, cousins, her aunt, even her father's friend, she keeps getting these weird half responses that make her feel like she should have known or been there. Like they're judging her for not showing up when nobody invited her in the first place. She keeps asking me if she did something wrong. She wonders if her father was mad at her. I do think he was happy for us, but now I don't even know what's true anymore. I guess I just don't understand how something like this happens. I know grief makes people act strangely and there might be things we don't know. I don't want to assume the worst about her stepmother. Maybe she was overwhelmed or didn't have our contact information, though I feel like she must have had some way to reach out. But I also don't want to make excuses for someone who let my fiance find out her father died a month later from a Facebook post. It's starting to feel uncomfortably close to full-on evil stepmother territory, and I hate even thinking that, but this just feels so cold. She's devastated, and I don't know what I'm supposed to say or do. I can't fix it. She just keeps saying she can't believe she wasn't there, that she wasn't even given the chance. I'm angry too, but mostly I just feel helpless and sad for her. I guess what I'm really asking is how do I help my fiance grieve someone she didn't even get the chance to say goodbye to? She keeps wondering if her father was upset with her or if she missed some sign, and now the way her family is reacting is only making her feel worse. I want to support her without making her feel like she has to perform grief on anyone else's timeline or carry blame for something that was never her fault. Edit, I found where her father is buried and got contact information for who I think is her half-brother. When I showed her the profile to confirm, she shut down and panicked, but it did confirm for me that it's definitely him. She doesn't want to reach out right now, but I might. Update. We finally found out where her father was buried and I managed to get in touch with her half-brother. When I showed her who I thought it was, she panicked and did not want anything to do with it. She still does not know that I went ahead and talked to him. To be honest, I expected lies or deflection, but what I got was more frustrating. He was not defensive, just cryptic. He said he knows exactly why her side of the family cut her off, and that she knows too. He would not tell me what it was and just kept saying I should ask her because I would not believe him anyway. Then he added sarcastically that if she is even capable of telling me the truth, I would already know. He did say he had tried calling and texting her after their father passed, but she hasn't blocked on everything. He also said he tried to make sure she was included, but she made it clear a long time ago that she wanted nothing to do with him. He knows she has always hated him just for existing. He ended the conversation by saying he was calling her bluff, that she does not really want anything to do with her father's side of the family. He even asked if she ever said she was inviting any of them to the wedding. That part stung a little. I will not pretend to know the full story, but I am starting to feel like this is not a case of one person being awful. It feels more like years of silence and resentment that turned into something cruel. We did get some clarity on the legal side. There probably will not be a fight with the stepmother. The brother told me everything that is needed. We are working with a lawyer, but it will take time. The executor has up to 2 years before probate has to start. Even then, anything she may be entitled to would be split evenly with him and only applies to accounts that were solely in her father's name. We are not expecting anything substantial, but she deserves to know she was not forgotten. Since real closure is out of reach, we are creating our own. Someone suggested planting a memorial tree. We love that idea. We are currently looking for a good starter tree, and she is going to write her father a letter to bury under it. It is not a solution, but it is something real and peaceful she can hold on to. There probably will not be another update. I am realizing that trying to untangle her family's damage might only hurt our relationship. If I want a healthy marriage, I need to protect her peace more than I need to win a fight that was lost a long time ago. User Hobbit Lifestyle said, "Damn, now I'm very curious." To this bending outward said, "It is either that she is like Hitler or it is some trifling nonsense. There is no in between." Then Arntor1184 said, "You would be shocked to find out what people are capable of hiding. Just reading the title gives me crazy flashbacks. I had a fiancée who similarly had her father die, but she found out that the family banned her from the funeral and even refused to tell her where the plot was. She was a mess and I did all I could to console her, but it was rough. A couple of months later, she found out by chance that he faked it to get back at her. He was alive and well, but was mad at her for being unable to be more hands-on in the care of her mentally disabled little sister. I thought it was the cruelest thing I had ever seen, and she was even more of a wreck. Fast forward another year, and she was working at a hospital known for dealing with heart and stroke patients. One day, she saw his name on the monitor. He had actually had a severe stroke. So we went through the turmoil of her father dying again. She spent extra time at the hospital with him, and again, I did my best to help her through the actual death of her father. It was just as hard as the first time, with her a complete wreck, not sleeping, crying nonstop, and the expected such. Her father and she reconciled, which was big. He also left behind a sizable inheritance, so thanks to that, she had me reach out to my aunt to find us a realtor to start looking at houses. The only catch was she was a pathological liar and none of this was true. She made every single thing up and went above and beyond to make it feel real. It turns out she had been cut off from most of this part of her family long before me for this exact type of behavior. The point is, this does not pass the small test, and I know OP is in love and how that blinds you, but he seriously needs to wake up and start asking hard questions. There is no way an entire family kept her in the dark for no reason without at least one person spilling the beans. The message he got from her brother is eerily similar to the way some people in my ex-fiance's life spoke to me, but I was too blinded by what I thought was love and a burning desire to help the damsel in distress to recognize exactly what they were saying. He is telling OP that things are not the way he believes, but that she is such a nightmare to deal with, he does not even want to dip his toes back into that pool of insanity. Something is not right here, and OP may have just had his bacon pulled from the fire just in time. This next post was made about 3 months ago by a user named Instruction Timely. The post is titled, "I found messages on my Mill's computer that changed my entire view of her. She's also my boss." I work at my husband's family business that builds custom homes. I met my mother-in-law when she came into the design firm I worked at to pick out some options for a client. She and I hit it off, and after she had come in a few times, she set me up with her son. Fast forward 7 years, and I coordinate all the builds and consult with clients on design for the 50-plus-year-old family business. My mother-in-law is technically my boss, but we operate a lot like equals, and she has been taking some steps back. She and I have always gotten along great, and she has felt like the mother I never got to have growing up. Last Friday, I was packing up to go home and was on the phone with my husband before he got a flight for an annual weekend away with friends. I was distracted and accidentally grabbed my mother-in-law's computer instead of mine. I did not realize it until I was home and wanted to look up some fixtures for a project in our own house. Once I knew, I texted her to let her know, to which she said no worries, she was unplugging this weekend anyway and to do whatever I needed on it. I was just browsing and unintentionally clicked on a linked email on a store's contact page. We use MacBooks, and as a lot of Apple users know, that will usually pop up to send an email using your default mail app. I closed the draft, and when I went to close her email app, I saw an email from a recently hired apprentice titled "Our Weekend Getaway Itinerary." I froze. I realized this was her personal email, and I couldn't help myself but to click on it. I found both explicit and romantic messages between this 22-year-old male apprentice and my married 47-year-old mother-in-law and boss. I slammed the computer shut and just went to bed, staring at the ceiling for quite a while. My husband was gone all weekend and only got home today. I had been spiraling all weekend on how to handle this. I certainly was not going to bring it up to my husband while he was gone, but I went to the office and had to see my mother-in-law yesterday and could barely keep my composure. I found every excuse to lock myself away in my office and be busy. So now my husband is back and I'm wondering what to do. Do I tell him? How do I even do that? Do I go to his mother and confront her? Do I go to his father and tell him? Help. Update. I should not have been surprised by the number of people who told me to keep it to myself and that I was in the wrong for snooping. Yes, I should not have opened the email, but I did. So here we are. And here is an update. My husband knew something was wrong after he got home. He can read me like a book. I told him I found out something I should not have and told him everything. He was mortified, but as some said, he is glad I told him because keeping it from him would have been worse. He knew more about that apprentice than I did. He was the son of a family friend, and she has known him since he was a teenager. Hiring him was a favor to said friend. My husband said he wanted to take him from there, which he did. He went snooping on his own. The computer is company property, and he has ownership in it as well and can log in remotely at any time. He took screenshots of emails going back with the apprentice over a year before he worked here, then of ones with someone else that were 2 years old, and then records of a second phone and hotel reservations. With all that, he took it to his father. I do not know how that conversation went, but I do know that they went to get him tested. To add insult to injury, he tested positive. My father-in-law joined us for dinner instead of going home, and we talked for quite a while. He was like a heartbroken teenager. He had no idea what was happening, but years ago he had suspicions of her talking to other men, but did not have any proof, and they dropped it after a brief fight. But now, with undeniable proof of multiple affairs, he said it is over. He also has a pretty airtight prenup that should make it a pretty easy divorce on paper. The family business is on his side, and in the case of infidelity, she forfeits all ownership of the business and the house they built together. So I am sorry to break it to you. Coming clean did not destroy my marriage or my career. I told my husband mostly because we do not keep secrets from each other. It is a foundation of our marriage. But it is almost like reasonable adults put blame only where it is deserved, on the cheater. My father-in-law is angry and simultaneously devastated and plans to get his ducks in a row before serving her with papers. Update 2. My father-in-law did end up confronting my mother-in-law shortly after my post. He brought the proof that my husband found, his positive STI results, a copy of their prenup, and the divorce papers. From what he told us when he came over for dinner afterward, he was calm and just laid it all out on the table. She obviously knew she was caught and just asked how he found out. He He said it was not important and outlined what the next steps would look like. He was willing to make some concessions on their prenup if she would come clean about everything and step down quietly. I think he was so hurt by it all and loved her so much that he just wanted this to be done and over, and he still wanted to care for her. She fought for a bit but relented, so the divorce should go smoothly. She stepped down willingly from the business and moved out, but he did offer spousal support and their vacation home, which she moved into, both things that were not included in the prenup. My father-in-law has spent a lot of time at our house or going out with my husband golfing or hiking. He is heartbroken and worried that it is all going a little too smooth, that she will suddenly change her attitude. But I personally think she just knows she got caught and messed up beyond any fixing. I am struggling to come to terms with that version of her versus the one I got to know and love, but there is nothing I can do but be there for my father-in-law and husband. The two are really leaning on each other, which is heartwarming for me to see. She reached out to me to apologize for putting me in this position and hopes we can still have a relationship. So at some point, she found out that he found out from me. I told her not right now, but I do not know what will happen in the future. My husband is my #1 priority right now. Thank you so much for making it to the end of the video, and thank you also to partner of the channel, GamerSupps. Use code DLAM to support the channel and get 10% off of your purchase, link in the description. I'm sure many of you like me have a hankering for daily caffeine, so go check them out. Lately, I've been a big fan of Titty Milk and Acid Rain, but they've got dozens of other flavors for y'all to try out. Anyway, thanks again for reaching the end, and I hope you all have an amazing passage of the next 24 hours.